This is Magnum TA. Whenever I want to get all the ins and outs of what's going on in wrestling, I listen to InYourHeadOnline.com.
Would you pick up a Horseman DVD if WWE released it?
They should send you a free copy. As a matter of principle, I would not. I would not buy one. But
would you be part of it?
Got one and sent it to me. I would certainly watch it.
Okay. Would you be part of one? Would you agree? Do interviews or something for one?
I've been asked that question too, and that's a tough one because I say in my book that, and this is not a put down on someone who's working for minimum wage at McDonald's that's there because they're a student and that's an opportunity for them. But I said I would flip hamburgers for minimum wage before I would go back there. And again, and it's not an anger with Vince McMahon. It's just that I saw his MO long enough, over enough years to know that if I went back there at some point, and every day, you would never know if today is the day when Vince decided to get even. And I never wanted to go back and be under that kind of pressure. The other side of it is that, if Ole and some of the other guys had a chance to get a payday at a time when they don't have anything else going, and I was the one person standing in the way to recreate it, and it wouldn't reach the level of success it would be without my involvement, that would be a real tough decision to make. And I would probably have to put some guidelines in place to say, look, I'll go up there. I've always conducted myself in a professional manner, and I just don't want to have to deal with Vince McMahon on a one-on-one basis, and I wouldn't want it to be something that happened because it was a game that somebody wanted to play. I would do it for all the right reasons.
Yeah. I think as long as Flair's there, they would never really put out something to make the Horsemen look negative, kind of like they did with the Ultimate Warrior DVD.
Well, you never know. I have a feeling that was probably the prime motivating fact in Bret Hart coming back.
Yeah.
Certainly after what happened in Montreal, they could have... here's a situation, when you look at the history of wrestling with the World Wrestling Federation or WWE, how many people on a pay-per-view in front of a television camera spit in the face of Vince McMahon? Not many.
Right.
And if you had been a betting man and said that day or the day after, what is the likelihood that under any scenario that Vince McMahon would ever hire back someone who humiliated Vince to that degree to spit in his face and at ringside in front of an audience full of people?
Yeah. And also on the, I was going to say, on the Wrestling with Shadows, also, they show Vince staggering after Bret.
So what is the likelihood, had you been a betting man then and taking odds in Las Vegas, that Bret Hart would ever come back and work with Vince McMahon contractually for the same company under any circumstances? And I think you would have thought the odds would have been incredible. But again, it's an indication of the state that wrestling is in. You look at all of the legends that are coming back. They're coming back because they don't have a fresh crop of young faces to come along and to keep up the momentum. And they're having to pull from all these people and try and get every ounce out of everybody.
Yeah.
And I think in Bret's case, he's got a tremendous amount of pride. He's very appreciative and very proud of his Canadian heritage. And I think he wants to be remembered fondly as people look back at his career. And I don't think he wanted to be in a situation that the Warrior found himself in, where Vince has the right to all that footage and could present it however he wishes to, depending on what his relationship is with the individual that's being showcased.
Right.
And I think Bret just didn't want to ever put himself into that position, and by coming back when he did, it enabled him to have some control over how the history of Bret Hart was presented.
Yeah, I think the proof of that really is before he came back, the planned title was Screwed, the Bret Hart story. And then when he signed with them, it's been changed to, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
I couldn't have said it better. I think you very concisely, made my case.
Right. You got something to add, Barbie?
No, I think you pretty much summed that one up.
I meant from the question from the message board.
There is a question from the message board from one of our fans, who wants to know if there's anybody that you, JJ, have seen in wrestling today or a few years ago that you think could pull off your manager of a stable concept. That it was popular back in the 80s and 90s, but it seems to have fallen, as well as managing as a whole, by the wayside recently. Is there anybody that you've seen that you think could probably pull that off?
Well, I unfortunately, because the presentation of the product has changed so dramatically that there aren't any, as you said, traditional managers out there that have really had an opportunity to show even a hint of what they're capable of doing to try and evaluate and be able to accurately answer that question. I will say this, that when I did the Wrestle Reunion 2 in Valley Forge, which was the salute to Bruno Sammartino, I did a question and answer series the last day on a Sunday afternoon, right as the show was about to close. And I followed, of all people, Bobby the Brain Heenan. And Bobby was up on stage, and I had been signing my book for people that wanted to pick it up in person, and I kind of had a little all moseyed into the back of the room because I'm a big fan of Bobby Heenan. He's very entertaining, and I, as much as anything, just wanted to listen to him for a few minutes and hear what he had to say. And I guess he spotted me standing in the corner in the back of the room and made a point of directing the attention to me, and I don't remember his exact words, but he was very complimentary to me in terms of reflecting on my career, and he stated that my character was like that of a businessman who was very underhanded, that would sweet talk and do everything that I possibly could to get an advantage for the people that I was managing, and that is what the true role of the manager really is. And he very simply, paid me one great compliment that there was nobody better than me at doing that. I was not flamboyant like a Jim Cornette and some others, but I think that's what makes, just like wrestlers different, that's what made managers different, and that's what gave us all our own identity, and we come full circle back to the current WWE product, that there's a sameness to everything. And I'm sure if they had managers, you would have the same problem there, too.
Right.
Do you think Eric Bischoff could pull it off? We were talking earlier about how he makes somewhat of a good on-screen character, and he's definitely got personality.
I think he has the ability to do it, but I think you have to have the product has to be in sync, and everybody has to be working on the same page. You know, you mentioned earlier about Ricky Morton saying that being a babyface is a lost art, and it is to the point that you can be the greatest babyface in the world, but if you don't have heels to work with who understand what you're doing and to work with you, it's like a dance. You know, you have a dance contest, and you can have the greatest dancer in the world, ice skating, figure skaters. You can have the greatest figure skater in the world, but if he's not out there with a partner whose skills are at least somewhat close to whoever the star happens to be, then the star is not going to be able to perform at the level to which he's capable of. And the fans are going to be disappointed. So it takes two to tango, whether you're wrestling, whether you're ice skating, or whether you're dancing.
Right.